Pioneer's Lash features both a restaurant and a hotel, with little need for reservations, even during peak season. Just show up. So, next time you need to get away from the hustle and bustle of a more traditional vacation destination, set your sights a few miles off the coast, and then a few more miles off the coast, to the hidden retreat that is Pioneer's Lash.
What were the odds? There would be a special on about Pioneer's Lash the night before I was heading over there. It was worth noting, at least. I guess I should take a look at these files. It's strange. This file looks really new. Barely even thumbed. Who'd be knocking at my door at this time of night? Hi. I'm really sorry to be disturbing you like this in the middle of the night, but, you work for the Poolsville Tribune, right? I thought so. I used to work for the Tribune. I got a call from a friend of mine a few hours ago saying that Henry Frank is sending you to Pioneer's Lash. If that's true, you and I really need to talk. Can I come in? Thanks. Thanks for the coffee. I like your house. It's cozy. But enough with the small talk. Let's get back to why I came out here. I apologize for coming out so late. I came here as soon as I got the call, and I live in North Carolina now, so it took me a long time to get here. Who called me? I'd rather not say. It's someone who still works at the paper. It's somebody else who knows that Henry Frank is being less than candid with you. You probably think that Henry's assignment to you is the first time he expressed any interest in Pioneer's Lash. Hell, he probably straight up told you that. But if you believe that, you're sorely mistaken. Because he sent me there 8 years ago for a completely unrelated issue. He told me he wanted to look into some of the municipal proceedings there. It's kind of strange. See, Pioneer's Lash is an island, and there's no actual town. It's just another part of Massachusetts. Nothing on it is technically incorporated. All the land is privately owned, every square foot. Anyway, Henry told me that he thought it would be a great place for some mythical, unnamed criminal element to do their dirty deeds unnoticed. As long as they had the money, they needed to grease the right wheels. He didn't have any evidence, apart from a hunch, but I just kind of thought, cool, conspiracy stories are fun. I'll do it. I didn't think there was anything to it. So I flew over, spoke to a few people, and found out a few things. First of all, the town center is actually a village. It has village status, not town status. But there was this cadre rallying to get the status upgraded. And they wanted to organize a board of selectmen, get their own police department, their own fire department, all the bureaucratic rigmarole that goes along with that. But as it stood, at least when I was there, and this was, keep in mind, just about a decade ago, 8 years ago, everything on the island was Massachusetts state-run. And I got the sense the locals didn't like that. They wanted more autonomy. They just, they wanted Pioneers Lash to be a official town. And all the things that go along with that. They wanted to elect a board from locals. They wanted to appoint their own commissioners. They definitely wanted to get state funding. But at that point, they wanted to shut the state out of their business. And that kind of fed into what Henry had told me. To some extent anyway. Why were the locals so bent on being independent from Massachusetts state oversight? That's usually a red flag. I know what you're thinking, or what you're probably thinking. Why is it so unusual for the citizens of a given place to want to grow, incorporate, turn into a center for trade or commerce, and all those things? Normally the answer is nothing. That's par for the course. Especially in this country, you'd be hard-pressed to find a councilman that doesn't want to be a mayor, or a mayor that doesn't want to be governor, and a governor that doesn't want to be president. But what made Pioneers Lash so strange was that it was an evolutionary dead end. It was hard-capped, restricted by its own size, or rather its lack of size. It couldn't support much more than it already did. And it was outsized, outmaneuvered, just plain outgunned by Nantucket every step of the way. They didn't have anything they needed to be truly successful. They didn't have the acreage to be successful in agriculture. They didn't have the sort of premium biome that they needed to be a really successful tourist spot. They were even missing things like, that island didn't have bluffs, so there was no protection from sea wind, storms. They sat at this kind of nexus for cross-Atlantic currents that made boating extremely hazardous. So recreational boating was pretty much out of the question. And the point was, if there were truly ambitious, smart people on the Lash, instead of bothering even trying to fix what can't be fixed, they should have just left for greener pastures, But they didn't. You can check out, but you can never leave. So that got me thinking along a slightly different tack, that maybe there was something about the land, or even the surrounding shoals, that was more valuable than people were letting on. Something that they were just sitting on that would make them rich, right? You hear about that kind of stuff all the time. People finding oil in their neighbors' backyards and then buying up the property cheap. People trying to pull one over on others, and it's rampant. So I started going down that road. Talk to different people. ask different questions, trying to find out what pioneers Lash had that it wouldn't want to let go of. Something that could maybe make the people on the island rich, or at least the people in control of the island rich. So that's what I spent the bulk of my time looking into while I was over there. It seemed promising at first, but in the end it was just another dead end. It was as much a dead end as that whole island is. I couldn't find anything, not one hint of one iota of anything valuable that would induce an entire village to decide to circle the wagons as tightly as they did. I mean, I know the stories. I know there were pirates there, in the 17th century. But the truth was, there was just no gold. There was none. That was my top suspicion. That's what I looked into the most. Some pirate galleon sunk in the treacherous cross currents they have. But there's just no evidence, empirical, historical, or otherwise, to indicate that that might be the case. And besides, really, if there were a trove of gold, either on or near the island, they would just go get it. Massachusetts maritime law is pretty clear at who reaps those rewards. It's finders keepers. They didn't need a township to mine that vein. In fact, if they were still interested after that, it would only help their cause. Get their hands on treasure as soon as they can. But there were no efforts underway that I could find. So I was looking for other leads, but I could tell, and this was, after maybe 2 or 3 weeks over there, I was wearing out my welcome, I stayed at this place called the Admiral Inn. It's the only inn they have over there. Pretty sure that's still the case, if they're even still open. But even the innkeeper was kind of giving me indications that it was time for me to move on. Others were less subtle. Found a note under my door one morning. Thought it was a bill or something like that, but it had written in this kind of jagged chicken scratch, "Nothing to see here, move along." It was nothing overtly threatening, but it was enough for me to get the message. So at that point, I gave up. I wasn't getting anywhere. I didn't even see any criminal activity while I was over there. Not even vandalism. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that something wasn't sitting right. And one thing was crystal clear. The locals did not like me over there flipping over rocks. That's something for you to keep in mind when you head over there. In the end, I never saw any evidence of mine or Henry's suspicions. There's certainly no syndicate running a smuggling operation there. And there was no pirate's gold lurking just beneath the waves off the coast. It's nothing. Just a whole lot of unwelcoming locals and a total lack of anything interesting to do. And the reason I made the drive out all this way was to be sure that you knew that Henry just is not being on the level with you. At the very least, he's held back information. I don't know if he knows that girl that died or not. My feeling is that's just a pretext to get you out there for some ulterior motive. The same thing was true for me. For all you or I know, he may have had other people out there over the last 8 years. And neither of us would know about it. It's only through sheer luck that I happened to hear about you. So you need to watch your back. Be careful. Mostly just know where you stand. I'm not saying that these people are out to get you. There were no horses' heads in my bed. People were just testy. I don't know what Henry's real motives are. And if you're thinking that you can march back into his office and ask him, let me dissuade you from that particular course of action. Because that's what I did when I got back from the island. And I got fired 2 days later. So if you want to keep your job, my advice is just pretend I never came by. Never told you anything. Go on ahead to Pioneer's Lash. Just keep your eyes open. Do what Henry wants. Just know where you stand, That's all. I better head back. If I drive straight through, I could still make it back in the morning, just in time for work. It's not going to be an easy day for me. But I have a feeling your day is not going to be any simpler. Thank you for the coffee and the hospitality. I'd say let me know how things go when you get back, but I really think it's probably better that we don't have any further contact. So I'll just wish you good luck and good night.